What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I'm sharing swatches of the new Cadillacquer Halloween 2024 collection. Now before we get into it, if you haven't heard of Cadillacquer before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in Switzerland, but they are available internationally, and all of their polishes are 5 free, meaning they are free of 5 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. And they just released this new Halloween collection. We've got 8 brand new shades, and we've got a variety of different finishes. We've got crellys, we've got shimmers, we've got a reflective, we even have a magnetic, and they're all really unique colors and combinations, so I'm very excited to share them with you. So let me go ahead and share all the swatches with you, then we can talk a little bit more about my thoughts on them, and then we can get into pricing, availability, and all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. Starting off with the shade The World is More Interesting With You in It, this is a white crelly polish, so it sits somewhere between being a sheer jelly and an opaque cream, and then within that we've got purple and orange hex glitters in a couple different sizes that give it this sort of confetti look, and I love a white crelly polish like this. I think they're so cute. They definitely remind me of those little funfetti cakes, and this one was actually really nicely opaque in 2 coats. Sometimes they can be more on the sheer side and you need 3 or 4 coats to get nice opacity, but I really enjoyed the way that this one looked in 2. Next up we have the shade You Don't Feel the Air Flexing, and this one is a very light blue, again in that crelly sort of formula as the base, and then within that we've got a few different colors of iridescent flakies in a variety of different sizes, but you can see they do get pretty large, and here's what it looks like in 2 coats if you want a more sheer type of look, but I ended up applying a 3rd coat just to see how that looked as well. And this is another really beautiful shade. I wouldn't describe it as a typical Halloween color, but there definitely is this beautiful opalescent vibe to it, and I think with that cool grayed out kind of base color, it feels a little bit ghostly to me, so I really like that. But I feel like I could make this polish work for any time of year because it just kind of feels like an elegant, work appropriate type of color to me. Next up we have the shade We Are the Ones Who Dwell Within, and this one is actually a magnetic polish, and there's a lot going on in here. So we have this deep base that is totally packed with a magnetic blue shimmer, and then within that we also have multi-chromatic flakies, and they're a little bit on the smaller side, but there are a few big ones in there as well. And honestly, this polish just on its own is really beautiful and visually interesting, but of course I wanted to see what it looked like magnetized, and this was super stunning. I love how that base color became this blackened shade that has those beautiful multi-chrome flakes within it that really just look like autumn leaves. Now in general, I will say I think Cadillacquer magnetics tend to perform a little bit better with the cat eye style, but I wanted to try this in the velvet style as well, and it basically just pulled all of that blue magnetic pigment to the surface of the manicure, so it hid the multi-chrome flakes a little bit, but when you move your nail around you can see them, which I think is pretty fun. Moving on, we have the shade Let Me In, and this is actually a reflective jelly polish. So we've got this deeper blue, slightly grayed out jelly base, and then within that we've got these flash reactive glitters that usually look white, but in flashlights and flash photography they look a little bit more purpley. And then we also have these smaller multi-chrome flakes running throughout that are primarily this pinky coppery color into orange into gold, and this one's also really stunning. It also reminds me of falling leaves, and I especially love the addition of those reactive glitters because they add a little bit of like an unreal sparkle to it. For some reason, looking at this is giving falling leaves at night with a little bit of rain. So another really gorgeous shade. Then we have my favorite of the collection. This is Whatever You Do, Don't Fall Asleep, and this one is a very cool toned purple crelly base that has this gorgeous fuchsia shimmer running throughout, as well as a bunch of different sizes of lime green glitters, and this is just the perfect Halloween shade to me. It looks cute in 2 coats, but I think that the real coverage comes in 3 because you get so much depth of color with that purple, and you can see all the levels of the green glitters coming through, and I just think that this one's stunning. I don't think that this video does it justice. I also featured this in a short, but when you see this one in natural light, you're gonna fall in love with it. I think it's so beautiful, and it just feels like the perfect Halloween Halloween color combo to me. Then we've got another favorite of mine. This one is called Oh Yes, There Will Be Blood, and this one is a red jelly base that is packed with black and metallic red hex glitters in a bunch of different sizes, and this one's really cool. I love a red jelly because you can really build up how deep you want that red color to be, so I thought this was really beautiful and a little bit brighter in 2 coats. It kind of reminded me of a dragon fruit at this level of opacity, so I feel like this could be fun for using for nail art other times of year, but it also feels so perfectly Halloweeny to me, especially in the 3rd coat when you get a little bit deeper of that red color and you get a lot more of those black glitters. I just think it's so visually interesting when a polish has matte black glitter in it because it really just looks so different from the usual metallic glitter, so I think that's really fun as well. Super gorgeous color. And then the final 2 shades are more simple shimmery colors. This first one is called Wanna See a Magic Trick, and this one is a beautiful duochromatic purple shimmer. So on the 1st coat it was a little bit sheer. I was worried it was gonna need 3 coats, but it ended up giving me perfect opacity in 2, and it's just this really beautiful almost blackened kind of purple, and you can see just looking at it head on it shifts from that cooler indigo color into a warmer purpley color. So it's simple but it's really gorgeous. And last but not least we have It's the Normal People That Scare Me, which is another beautiful duochromy shimmer, and again applying this one the 1st coat it was pretty sheer, but I ended up getting full coverage in the 2nd coat, and this one's just a really beautiful teal blue kind of shade, and you can see looking at it even head on we've got that more greenish blue shifting into more of a sky blue color around the edges of my nail. And I will say on camera this one does look like it could have used a 3rd coat, but in person it gave me perfect opacity in 2, so I would definitely wear this one as a 2-coater. So here's all the polishes together, and I have to say I'm really impressed with the polishes individually, but also as a whole. I think it's such a unique selection of colors and combinations to make a Halloween collection. Even though I did say a few times that these felt like perfect Halloween color combos, I don't think that this is typical of what you see for Halloween nail polishes. Usually I feel like we get a lot of orange and green and a little bit of purple sprinkled in, but this just feels very different from that, and I really appreciate the brand playing with these funkier color combinations and different types of formulas to create the collection because it's just really interesting and it's very different from what I already have. So definitely appreciated that, and I feel like I could also make a lot of these colors work for different times of year as well. The shimmers especially feel like they could work for any time of year, but I think they'll work especially well in the winter time because they're those more jeweled tones. And then the rest of the shades I feel like kind of work for multiple seasons and multiple holidays, so I think that's really fun as well. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about it. So those are the polishes, and as you can see I definitely loved these. I love these unique colors and finishes and combinations, and I honestly feel like this is just one of the most unique brands that I have ever used. I just really don't have anything like these in my collection. I think they're so stunning. I think they perfectly capture the feeling of this holiday, and sometimes I start to feel that there's only so many polishes you can make for Halloween, but then I get a collection like this and I just fall in love with it, and it's just so nice to see a unique take on a holiday that's been around for so long. And I think these are just so beginner friendly and buildable. Sometimes with indie polishes, especially with the more specialty formulas like crellys, they can be a little bit tricky to work with, but I had such an easy time with these. So if you're just getting into nail polish and you've really only used the creams and the shimmers and the more simple formulas, I think you'll still have a really easy time with these. So now getting into pricing and availability, all of these polishes are available for pre-order. They're going to be shipping in October. Now just a quick note, Cadillacquer collections do tend to sell out very fast, so I highly recommend grabbing them as soon as possible, just because they can be a little bit difficult to find outside of the pre-order, but they are available from a bunch of different stockists based on what country you're in. For the US, they have What's Up Nails and Color for Nails, so I'll link those as well as a few others down in the description. All of the polishes do come in 15 milliliter bottles, and they do feature a wide flat brush with a rounded tip, so application is really easy, and the price does vary based on what retailer you're getting from and what country you're shipping to. On the What's Up Nails website, they are retailing for $15.75 USD each. So like I said, I'm gonna link everything down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested, but I'm so curious to hear what you think of these. Which color is your favorite? Which finish is your favorite? Are you planning on picking any of these up, or have you pre-ordered them already? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. And of course, a huge thank you to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Ken, Rosie, and Angel. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Pookie Bear, and Pookie Bear wants to know, what's one thing besides nail polish that you don't mind paying more for because the quality is worth it? Ooh, that's a good one. I think probably the first thing that comes to mind, at least, is journaling supplies, especially when it comes to like paper quality. I have really purchased a whole range between very inexpensive to relatively expensive, and I feel like to an extent you definitely get what you pay for. And I have noticed that the quality of paper obviously is not as great when I buy less expensive paper. So I definitely tend to buy the more expensive journals and notebooks. It does kind of depend though when it comes to markers, because I do have really inexpensive markers that I love, and I also have somewhat expensive markers that I love, and I really just kind of pick and choose based on what I'm in the mood for, but both of them are great quality. So yeah, I guess it's really just specifically notebooks. For anybody who's curious, I not necessarily doing art, but I do bullet journaling, and a lot of that for me is drawing in those notebooks, so I like the paper quality to be great. But yeah, I feel like markers are a little bit different. I have found that paint's the same thing. If it's a little bit less expensive, it tends to not be as amazing quality as the more expensive paints. But yeah, markers seem to be pretty good across the board, so I prefer to buy inexpensive markers, but I do have a few more expensive markers that I really love as well. But yeah, I'm curious to hear everybody's answers on this. What do you not mind paying more for because you know that the quality is going to be consistently better for the more expensive products? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.